Hi, Guy Fratelloni here, and I have a couple of old, early, basic Dungeons and Dragons box sets. These represent what first got me into the hobby, um, and this set especially is near and dear to my heart. It's not the one that I own, the one that I own is long gone, but this is very similar to what I had. This set here is actually predates before I got into the game, but it's the same box set, essentially. They did mix and match things after a while. I'm opening it. It's not shrunk wrap or anything. It's been probably played with seldom, and I know I didn't use it. But this is the basic book you got. And I think it actually wasn't written by Gary Gygax. It was written by Brian Bloom with Gary's understanding and his rules. So it's got all the basics you need to get probably from first, second, and third level. And it's got tables, monsters, other things. So you could probably go a good half year before you needed to figure out how far the characters were going to advance. Inside there's this clever little card that they included, and I think for a nominal fee you could send away for dice, because this set so early did not come with dice. It's got a listing on the back of the booklet of some of the other stuff that they published during this time. It's got the early logo with the wizard. It doesn't have the rare early logo, which is the lizard with the pitchfork or spear. But now this set here is different from the one I had. This came with a monochrome colored module, B1, In Search of the Unknown by Mike Carr. And this adventure right here, this is the only version of this module that I have that's exactly like this. Inside, it's got some random rooms, and it's got some random treasures that the dungeon master is supposed to place himself. But it's a good basic set. Here's your map. Everything was in light blue. And really, the DM was supposed to do some work and place treasure for that particular one. This right here is interesting because this was something free that TSR published to give to people that just discovered the game, understanding Dungeons and Dragons. And it is published by TSR. I didn't even know I had this. There's 2 of these in the box. And this actually might have some value all by itself because it's got to be rare. And it was like a free handout. It's actually got 4 pages on it. And the middle here describes the basics of the game so you could get started. And I thought that was interesting. It's just kind of a helper. So that's that set. I'm already over 3 minutes on this. So anyway, that's that one. This next box set I'm showing you is probably the early 80s. And this is another basic set. This has exactly the interior. Well, no, not exactly, but it's got most of what the other set has in it, maybe with small updates. And it's got a different adventure, the adventure that my box set came with. This had dice, although you can see the dice are pretty bad. You get a crayon to color in the numbers. I feel bad for anybody starting out that had these. We're so spoiled now with everything we have. The dice are so good now. But look at that. Interesting, right? So anyway, this is the basic handbook, the similar one that light blue book was in the other book. And this one's got different artwork and stuff in it, but it's mostly the same. It's basically the same rules, the same character classes, and all that. They may have updated the character sheet and the spells a little bit, not really much. So anyway, there's that. Um, let's see. Now this is the module that I first got, that I grew up with. This is Keep on the Borderlands. This is by Gary Gygax, and he just packed so much information into this adventure. It's just a joy to read. You get all sorts of ideas by just reading the interior about what is possible. Is that shop owner trying to rip me off? Are those clerics okay? Or is that chanting in the middle of the night strange? All sorts of stuff in here that you can, you can use. This adventure has some excellent cave systems where the monsters that are in there, they either work together very well, or they're enemies but will still warn each other, because, let's face it, your neighbor, even though he might be a bad neighbor, you still want to stop anybody trying to invade your area. So there's lots of tips and stuff in here. There's a castle town, and there is also the cave area, and then there's a few other minor encounter areas. One of them being, I remember there was this crazy hermit who was friendly at first, but then if you turn your back on him, the guy would go nuts. Here's something that was free included with this set. This is actually kind of a collectible in its own. Everybody that collects older D&D stuff is always looking for like checklists and things that they might find to add to their collection, because it's obviously long out of print. So what we have here is the basic and expert set. We just looked at the basic, and here's the expert set. The expert set, I actually have a different version of it, but it comes with the adventure that's in this one. I forget what it is, but there's that module again, D&D basic set modules. Oh yeah, right here. It's the Isle of Dread. So there's that, and then we get into some of the great books that Gary wrote, the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons books. Everybody that plays this game should at least own the Dungeon Master's Guide, Player's Handbook, and Monster Manual to at least understand where the game came from and how it's grown, how it's improved. And there's the Deities and Demigods, and let's see, it's got everything in here that was printed early. There's a book for just non-playing NPCs. There's some character sheets. Everybody needs a Game Master Shield to play the game, except for the basic set. You don't need that. There's other adventures here. Yeah, they've got all sorts of stuff listed. And then, of course, they did produce some board games, Dungeon. There was this Warlocks and Warriors, Divine Right, Castles and Crusades. Oh, Knights of Camelot, sorry. Boot Hill, Top Secret. I did a video on my two versions of Top Secret role-playing games. One of them I have open. I do have a version of Boot Hill, but it's not this wonderful box set. I had it years ago, and we never played it, so again, I sold everything off with my first collection, but it's nice seeing it again, There was Gamma World. I believe that game was kind of a failed setting. It didn't really work. I had bought it once and never really did anything with it. The contents were lacking inside. I didn't like it. Let's see. There's better after the war games out there. There's all sorts of board games. They were friends with this guy here. I forget his name, but he did a bunch of board games for them. Here's the earliest stuff for basic D&D. They were still available and still well loved by the players at the time. I've gotten a couple of these, but really you can't really use them for anything. For me, I'm an advanced I'm an advanced fan. I don't like the basic stuff. I like the advanced Dungeons and Dragons game. And when I do run Keep on the Borderlands, whoops, sorry, I know it's right in your face. I do upgrade or I improve the monsters and everything in it to keep up with the players, which are vastly improved as well. Let's see. I know everything's super close here. What else? But yeah, this catalog came with it. There's dice. It's the same set. You get a crayon, and then they advertise their Dragon magazine, which is long out of print. I think it went up to issue close to 400. Then it went online, and then it went defunct. This is actually fairly fun and interesting. They were making T-shirts, and so you could buy the T-shirts with some of the logos and everything on it. That's kind of fun. And of course, they advertise the Gen Con Game Fair, which I think still goes on today. I'm not 100% sure. I've never gone to any of these things. But this little booklet is fun to have. You get to just kind of relive the past a little bit. But yeah, these box sets represent, maybe a good portion of my childhood, a lot of fun with friends, slinging dice and killing monsters. That's what it's all about. Good night.